All right, we're back broadcasting live at the Toms River Auto Group studio right here in Northfield. Billy Schweim and the intern Andrew Leeds is with us, and Nikki Earnshaw. And, of course, right now, guys, as my first guest today, I love because he puts me right back in the film room. I feel like I'm back in college or high school in the film room with the coaches, breaking down the film. So if you're a casual football fan, you need to look at Baldy's breakdowns because he gives it to you like the coaching staff. He's like a coach. He's like my coach.
He's great.
Great.
I mean, I think I know my stuff, and then I watch his breakdowns, and I'm like, wow,
it's informative.
I would have never even thought about that.
Yeah, I love it. All right, let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room our good buddy. He's the analyst for the NFL Network. Actually, there's too much things. He does everything. Let's welcome into the locker room Brian Baldinger. Good morning, Baldy.
Billy, what's going on, man? Good to hear your voice, buddy. Good to be with you.
Hey, Baldy, I was looking at your the way I was going to introduce you, but there's so much stuff that you're everywhere.
Well, I like being busy, Bill.
You are
being busy. Hey, but listen, this weekend though, for the first weekend all year, I started off in Brazil, with the Eagles and Packers. But I've been going every weekend doing games. But I've actually got a home game this weekend. I actually got this game with the Eagles against Jacksonville, so I actually don't even have to get on a plane, go anywhere, so it's pretty nice.
Well, don't you spend a lot of time if you live in Florida too, don't you?
I go back and forth. In fact, next week I'm doing the 49ers and Buccaneers next Sunday.
Okay.
And I have a place in Fort Lauderdale. I'm just going to drive over to Fort Lauderdale after the game. I'm just going to stay and do everything over there next week. So, yeah, it'd be nice. Nothing against being here in beautiful South Jersey.
Yeah, the weather's been great too.
But, I get to look at the ocean when I'm there, so it'll be good.
Well, that's another thing too, Baldy. Because I follow you on Twitter and all the social media platforms at Baldy NFL. But your Baldy breakdowns. You also, when you're in the ocean a lot, you film yourself in the ocean a lot.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm a water guy, Bill.
You are.
I need the salt water running through me, so I'm a diver, free diver, so I'm down underneath the water whenever I can get to.
Hey, Baldy, we were saying before we brought you up how I can't tell you how much I enjoy Baldy's breakdowns, but you put me back in time, man. You put me back in the film room with the coaching staff, and that's what I love about it. It's so informative. Like for a casual NFL fan, if they want to learn about the game, the intricacies of the lineman work and stuff, all you got to do is watch Baldy breakdowns.
It's funny that you say that, Bill, because I get a lot of feedback from people saying, "Why don't you just screenshot? Why don't you get a high tech, a service app where I could, put all the graphics on there and spot shadows and all this kind of stuff." And I have that ability to do it. It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to a guy that Bob Papa, who actually announces the Giants game. He's a good friend of mine. He told me, "Don't change. Just do it raw. Just do it the way it is. We like it just the way it is. You don't have to go high tech." And so I literally, I'm in at NFL Films all the time. In fact, I'm heading over there today to do a couple things. But I just put my phone and just my little Apple phone and just recording stuff, and whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of it, try to explain the game. And so that's really what you're saying, Bill, is actually the intent. I want people to feel like they're in a film section. And I'm just trying to teach you the good, the bad, the ugly of a particular play or scheme or part of the game or whatever.
But Baldy, because when you watch the game, chances are, I would say the majority of people that watch NFL, you're not watching what the linemen do, so you don't really. I mean, they comment on a nice block here and there, but when you break it down, you go back and forth with the projector or whatever, and you can see it and you illustrate that.
Well. There's just so much. Look, I announce games every weekend, and I don't care if it's Troy Aikman on TV or Tom Brady or whoever it is now. I mean, I did all that, and I did those TV games at Fox for 12 years, and you have 12 seconds to explain something.
Not enough.
But you can't. The only way you can really see, if Saquon Barkley goes for 40 yards, on a breakout run, I mean, you don't really have time to see all the nuances of what made that play special. It could be a wide receiver block. It could be a good combo block. It could be anything.
Trap block.
The only way to really show that is to slow it down and kind of review it the way we normally would when we were playing.
Yeah.
Hey, Baldy, it's Nick. I got to get into the birds with you a little bit here.
Come on, Nick.
Jalen Hurts, I mean, what have you seen from the beginning of the season to now? I mean, he's played much better over the past couple of weeks. How have you seen his growth develop over the past couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, first of all, there was a couple of weeks, if you go back to, say, even if you go back to, New Orleans and Tampa, those ugly games, I mean, they were playing without A.J. Brown. And in some of those games, they were playing without Devontae Smith. I mean, those guys are difference makers. So, and they've been playing them for the last month without Dallas Goedert. I mean, those are three of their best players. So, but now that they're pretty much back to full health, the thing that's really changed is, a couple guys were really griping about how long Jalen was holding the ball, and Jalen wasn't happy with it either. And, if you look at last week, I know you guys did, against Cincinnati, and even against the Giants, they went to a lot more play-action passes.
Yeah.
And what it's done is it's really put a lot of the passing game on timing. And so Jalen right now, he's faking it to Saquon or to Gainwell, and, it's really kind of freezing the linebackers. It did a lot in Cincinnati last week, and he's able to get the ball out on time, just hit his fifth step, hit his seventh step, and then hitch and throw. And now the linemen are really trusting that he's going to get rid of the ball in, probably less than 3 seconds. And, last week they couldn't really get to him. They couldn't sack him. They couldn't. And so he's a lot more efficient. I think the guys are getting open quicker, and I think it's been a big part. And, they run the ball at a higher percentage right now than any other team in the league. They're running it 55% of the time.
Yeah, I saw that tweet that you put out.
Yeah, so but that's sort of the trend in the league, Bill. So I put that out there because I've been sort of studying the trend. And all the good teams, almost every team that has a winning record or a great record, is running it more than they're throwing it right now. And so the Eagles do it more than anybody. Of course, Saquon's made a big difference, but I think it's helped Jalen. He only threw the ball 20 times last week, but he completed 16 of them, and a big touchdown to Devontae. So they were really efficient with the ball. They're not turning it over as much because they're not throwing it as much. And so I think you're going to see more of this, especially tomorrow against Jacksonville.
We're talking with Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network. You can follow him on X platform at Baldy NFL. Of course, Baldy Breakdowns. Baldy, let me ask you this question. What are you more impressed with the Eagles so far, the offense, the defense, or the coaching staff?
The coaches definitely have made a difference, and they've definitely adjusted. I mean, some of the players I know that went to Nick during the bye week after that terrible loss to Tampa voiced, some of the concerns about the offense and things they thought they could do better, and they've adjusted. So that's good. Coaches are listening to the players, but I think the offense has a chance to be, top 5 in the league before the end of the season. I mean, they're 10th right now, but they have a chance to get a lot better because Saquon's great. And, even with Fred Johnson at left tackle or Tyler Steen at right guard, I mean, they're really well-coached guys, and they're playing well up front. I think Lane's playing as well as he's ever played. He doesn't even give up a pressure in these games. And he's in his 13th year. So I think he's playing really well. So I think the offense, as long as they stay reasonably healthy, AJ and Devontae are out there, I think they have a chance to be really good.
Hey, good morning, Baldy. Andrew here. And I want to talk to you on the other side of the ball, the defense. I mean, our young guys, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, they've looked absolutely phenomenal so far. I mean, better than expected from, right off the bat of their first season. So I just want to talk to you, what have you seen from them specifically that really jumps at you as, how they've been able to get off to such a hot start to their careers?
Well, but both of them were well scouted, and the things that you saw on tape, whether, it was at the MAC conference or, just watching Cooper at Iowa, they had a really good skill set. But I just remember being, doing the pregame show in Brazil before the first game, and we had just found out that Quinyon was going to start. We didn't really know that at the time because of some injuries and whatnot. So I thought Isaiah Rodgers was going to start during the season, and he had like a little injury late in training camp. So in fact, this week somebody called me and said, let's do Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I said Quinyon.
Wow.
I said, I know he doesn't have any interceptions, but going back to the first game defending Christian Watson in the end zone, the guy has got elite fast twitch skills. He plays the ball in the air really well. The interceptions will come. But, right now, he's playing at a very good level. And then, Cooper, he made that play on fourth down last week, they were throwing it to Jamar Chase, running him across the formation, and he followed Jamar the whole way and then made the tackle for a 2-yard loss. It was like a takeaway. Gave the Eagles great field position. They went down and scored from that. But since they inserted him into that slot position, I think, first of all, he's a very good tackler. He's a lot bigger than Avonte Maddox. And Avante's been a good player. He's a pit bull in there. But I think Cooper just gives him size, a little more athletic ability, and better tackling ability at that position.
Hey, Baldy, to me, the defense looked like they're getting – like last year – remember they got off that hot start and then they faltered down the stretch and they looked tired, they looked out of shape, they looked like disinterested, they had a lot of problems. This year the team looks like they had a slow start and now they're getting better and better each week. They look like they're building. I
would agree with that. Now,
no?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Look, Tampa went up and down the field. They were terrible against Tampa. They played Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. They were bad. The Giants, Daniel Jones was bad. But Cincinnati is what really, because Joe Burrow is having a great season, and that's a good offense, and they shut them down to 17 points. So you're keeping any team like that has the firepower that Cincinnati has, and you keep them to 17 points, they're on their way. And I would say the first thing that I think happened this year was because it was really very much in doubt what was going to happen at linebacker. But I think Nakobe and Zach Vaughn have done an excellent job of settling in. It's the best linebacking play they've had in at least the last 3 years.
Wow.
And so I think that's that. And then I think, they made some changes with Bryce Huff. He's still not what he was with the Jets yet, but they have a pretty good rotation up front. It won't surprise me to see them make a move here before the trade deadline on Tuesday for another defensive lineman, though.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of bounce off that a little bit, Baldy, with the defensive line and the interior. What have you noticed with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? They got off to a little bit of a slow start, then they had a great game against New Orleans. What have you noticed with them as the season's progressed?
Well, Jalen is an elite talent. He should have better numbers that he has. He leads the team in 3 sacks right now. But, I saw him before the New Orleans game down the field. And his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. I've known Drew a long time, so we were all talking on the sideline, and I just said, "Look, Drew, if Jalen wants to get into Baldy's breakdowns, he's going to have to do a little bit more." He went out there, and he was the best defensive lineman on the field that day. He was a dominant player that day, and when he wants to, he can be. I think Jordan Davis. People don't think I like Jordan Davis. I do like Jordan Davis, but there comes a time when you have to impact the passing game. And, the best defensive lineman in the league right now is Dexter Lawrence in New York. And for the first couple of years for Dexter, he didn't do much. He was a big guy in the middle of the field that didn't do much. He didn't sack the quarterback. And then he said it was a mental thing for him, the conditioning. He thought he was in good shape, but he would get tired of games, come out of the games. Now he fought through it. He fought through the mental part of it. And now he's a dominant player.
So, hey, Baldy, is it like getting mature and like becoming a pro's pro?
Yeah, well, that's part of it, Billy, for sure. But there's also a mental part where you think you're tired, and you're not really tired. You can push harder. And I don't know. I just think that's what's missing from Jordan. Because I know he wants to be good. I know he's got his weight down. I know he practices hard. He does the things the right way. But he really doesn't do much in the passing game still. And he looks tired out there at times.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a mental thing. Like, you can run all the gassers you want. You have to decide if you want to stay on the field. And, on third downs, fourth quarter, when the great defensive linemen really impact the game, that's the next step for Jordan.
Wow. All right, Baldy, I don't know if you heard the beginning of our show, but I want to have you comment on it. Joel Embiid had a press conference yesterday, and he lashed out a little bit. Did you happen to hear that?
I didn't, but I know what the situation is. So I'm familiar with it.
So what do you – I want to get Baldy's breakdown on this. What do you think about what Joel said?
Well, just fill me in on what he lashed out about, because I know he doesn't want – he's not going to play back-to-back games. I'm like, I heard Charles Barkley talk about this the other day, Billy. He'd be like, you play 4 days a week at the most.
Yeah.
3. Like, this is your job. They just gave you, $500 million to play, and now you're saying you can't go back-to-back games? Like, people should be on him about it. If he wants to lash out about it, fine. But, like, it's about, like, that's not being a pro going, I put him on a pitch count to start the season. Like, I've never felt like Joel ever got himself in great shape.
Well, so yesterday at his press conference, or the other day at his press conference, he was talking about how he's done so much for the team, for the city, and he's played through this and he's played through that. He's played through the broken eye socket, the Bell's palsy, the blindness, the broken fingers. I think it wasn't necessary. Just shut up and go play.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is your job.
Right.
It's your job. Everybody plays through injuries. You know, I mean, how many injuries did Jalen Hurts play through? He never said a word about it.
No.
You know, his shoulder, his ankle, his knee, all the stuff that's, bothered him over the years. He never says a single word about it. You know, but it's left us to speculate. But that's what Joel's job is to play through all of that.
Yeah.
And so we have seen that from other athletes before. And while you might think that's a terrific accomplishment, that's actually what being a pro athlete is.
I know. It's like not extra
that's
special.
Your job.
Yeah. All right, Baldy, I know you're calling the game tomorrow. Are you allowed to make a pick?
Well,
like, what do you think? Is this a trap game for the Eagles? Like,
I don't think so. I know they play Dallas next week in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas has their own issues right now. I don't feel like it is. I feel like the team feels like they're just hitting their stride right now. You know, the last 2 years, Bill, they started off 8-0, went to a Super Bowl. Last year they went 10-0, they fell off a cliff and collapsed. This year, there's been some struggles there, but now they're on this 3-game win streak. I don't think they're overlooking Jacksonville at all. I mean, they got a home game for the first time in a couple of weeks. I think they have a chance to go play a really complete game at home in front of the fans. They haven't done that yet, Bill.
All right.
They played well against Cleveland. They lost to Atlanta at the end. Like, this is the first time the fans are going to get a chance to see the Eagles, at home. And hopefully, listen to the fans really, get behind them right here. I don't think they're going to overlook that to think about going to Dallas next week.
All right, Baldy. We look forward to Baldy's breakdowns on Monday after the weekend of NFL football. We really appreciate you taking time. Yeah.
Listen to this. So, because it's a home game, like, I'm going to go over to NFL Films after the game, and I'm going to study the game when I get there. I want to post stuff for the fans and players right away, but the NFL gets mad at me if I start posting stuff before the teams start watching it. So like I was doing that for a while, and I liked doing it because I knew the fans liked it.
Yeah.
But then the NFL was like, "Hey, listen, Baldy, we know, everybody loves Baldy's breakdowns, but can you just wait till Monday morning?" So I'm like, all right. So I got to wait till Monday morning.
All right. Well, one of these days, Baldy, we got to get you at Lascala's. We do our Eagles pregame show a lot of times over at Lascala's. We had Vince Papali there last week.
I love that place.
Yeah, man. Lascala's Beach House in Brigantine. We got to get you there. All right, Brian, we got to run.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you again.
All right, Billy, you got it, buddy.
All right, there he is, Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network. He's
the best.
I love Baldy.
He's the
He's
best.
unbelievable.
He's the best, definitely.
Right. For the first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900 or give Chris Mooney a call in the Ocean City office, 609-399-1227. Now, just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine that is run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. Were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up hour number one. You're listening to The Locker with Billy Schweim right here on 97.3 ESPN.